Hello, my name is Molly Greenbaum. I'm the owner of Stronger Today Physical Therapy. I help older adults become more confident with their mobility so they can continue staying active, independent members of the Rochester community. Today, we are going to highlight another community member, Alana Russell from Aging Connections. Welcome, Alana.
Thank you so much for having me today, Molly. I appreciate it.
Of course. All right, let's jump right in. Can you tell us a little bit about how Aging Connections started?
Sure can. Yes. My business partner and I are both social workers. I've been a social worker for over 20 years myself, and the two of us have always worked. The majority of our career has taken place working with older adults at a variety of nonprofit community agencies. So actually, we did like a trial of Aging Connections in January of 2020, but as you can do the math, then the pandemic arrived 3 years ago, and that put a halt to our kind of launch. So really, we formally started Aging Connections in April 2021, and our focus is serving people in the community on a private basis using our past skill set.
Excellent. What are some of the ways that you help your clients and their families?
Yeah, there's a lot of ways. We like three words come to mind. We're really focusing on empowering, advocating, and supporting our clients. What that can really look like, it's providing education about what services exist in the community. So maybe who provides, what is companion services and what agencies provide those? How much do they cost? How does it work? And that's kind of on the small end of the spectrum, all the way up to maybe we have clients that are looking to downsize out of their home and move into a different type of setting. So exploring what is independent living, what is assisted living, what is nursing home care, what places are those, and how are those paid for. So I think it's a lot of providing the network and identifying agencies that we think would be a good fit for our clients. Our goal really is to help ease the challenge for the older adult and to help them navigate the system, what exists, as I said earlier, all while really honoring that older adult's ability to self-determination. That's a pretty key component for us as social workers. The client is the older adult. We want to hear their voice, what's important to them, etc.
Very good. I've been a physical therapist for a few years, but it wasn't until I started my business and started networking that I really learned about all the other components and, moving pieces when caring for an older adult or aging yourself. So it's great to
Yeah,
have one
exactly.
person to kind of help you navigate all the ins and outs.
Yeah, I kind of use the analogy quite often of we're like the hub of the wheel, and our focus is to identify the spokes and to connect the spokes, and so that that wheel keeps moving forward appropriately based upon what the situation is. But you're right, I had the same experience, realizing all that's out there. However, I think most people don't know about that until they're in it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about how clients engage with your services?
Yeah, like anybody can contact us. I will say most often who is the primary person to contact us initially, it's like the older, I'm sorry, it's like the adults, they're children basically. The adult children are the ones to contact us. And it's typically kind of the story of my mom or my dad. This is what's going on with them. I either don't live in the Rochester area, maybe I live out of state, or maybe I do live in Rochester, but I am an individual that's working full time. I've got a family I'm raising, and I don't know anything about aging services. Could you please help us? We do also have some direct initial contacts from the older adults, and or quite frankly, a lot of the agencies we network with, right? So it's kind of this two-way street. Maybe it is a companion agency that's already in that home, and they have concerns or some observations, and they've encouraged that family to contact us. So maybe the agency is the first, I guess, avenue of introduction.
Okay, excellent. How is Aging Connections different from other similar services in the area?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think there are other geriatric care managers in the area, or also the term is aging life care professionals, same concept.
Okay.
What I think is a strength about us is we are independent. We are not part of an agency that also provides home care services. I certainly think there are pros to that existing. It's just not for us. So in terms of if I have a client that needs home care services, I'm going to be able to identify maybe a variety of options, like maybe 4 agencies versus we are part of such and such agency. So I consider that to be a good difference.
Mm-hmm.
Another, I guess, what sets us apart is we are very comfortable with the uncomfortable. And I think that's a lot of our social work career. Between myself and my business partner, Melissa, we both have worked in adult protective services settings. So quite frankly, crisis is something we are capable to manage and have a lot of experience and comfortable. And I think that's important. And the last thing I would say that sets us apart is we don't have like a monthly minimum of hours or services that we need to provide. So we're almost on this like use us as you need to basis.
Mm-hmm.
And that is all over the place, right? Like initially, maybe a client and their family needed us for several hours that month to sort things out and get things set. But when they're set and it's like working, no news is good news. So I believe that there's some agencies that require the client to still pay like a monthly fee or have a monthly check-in. And once again, that's just not our preferred style.
That makes sense. And I think that's a really nice feature because, as you mentioned, care goes, up and down. Sometimes you need more care and other times things are going well.
Exactly. Life ebbs and flows. So we will ebb and flow alongside that.
Very nice. All right. What is one piece of advice you would give potential clients and family members?
Oh, that's a great question. I mean, my answer is probably a little idealistic, but it's to be as proactive as possible, or as proactive in your thinking as possible. So what I mean by that is like, let's not discount aging. Aging is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a good thing. You'll hear people kind of use the phrase, it's better than the alternative. And I believe in that. However, aging has its challenges, and there are things we may be in control of, and there are things we're not. Like I could choose to exercise and have a good diet. However, there's things called genetics and luck
Right.
that I have no control over. So when I say kind of to be proactive in your thinking, some simple things, well, I think they're simple, but that I think we all could do is like get a healthcare proxy in place, get a power of attorney in place, get to know what exists in your community in terms of services that are meant to support aging. And you can do that at a very light pace, but kind of keep your ears open, keep your eyes open, talk to your friends, talk to your neighbors that either have parents that are aging or are older adults themselves, and just have that sense as to, oh, this is kind of what exists. So as I said, that's a pretty idealistic answer. However, our clients come from both places. We have a few that are being very proactive and just want to know what exists and for us to navigate them through that, but there's no need right now for them to tap in. And then we have people that call us really at the height of what feels like a crisis, right? I'm in the hospital. I need to choose a skilled nursing facility for rehab, or I need services to go home. And typically that's on a Friday at 4 p.m. So as you can see, there's not a lot of turnaround time.
Yeah, I think that's really good to not necessarily like prevent aging or like, ignore that it's coming, but to just be as prepared for it, within reason.
Yeah, I think it's like I guess what I'd add to that, it's just society's perspective on aging and this
Hmm.
like anti-aging
Yep.
campaign. I'm anti that campaign. I think it's very naive and somewhat setting us all up for dangerous thinking of that won't happen to me. Now, I say once again, grain of salt, please. I don't want people to be over imaginative and wrought with anxiety, but you get the point. Just to aging is it's a good thing. We get to age. I want to be here as long as possible, and maybe my preference is to stay in my home. So I'd like to know what equipment I might be able to bring in my home to use my stairs if I no longer can, or what kinds of services I can pay for if I can't do the day-to-day housekeeping things, I suppose, or I can't drive myself. So that's my very long-winded advice.
Be prepared. Be
Yes.
All right, so let's move on to a couple fun questions so listeners can get to know a little more about you.
Right.
What is something that you want to learn how to do?
Oh gosh. I feel like I have a whole list. And I'm in a funny stage of life, right? Like I've got kids that are 14 and 12, so I'm doing a lot of driving them to their activities and appointments. So I think there is a list. I just look forward to the day when I can tap into doing the list. So maybe at the top of my list, and it's been there for a long time, is I'd like to learn to play the ukulele.
Oh, okay.
Very specific, but I think it's really cool.
Do you play any other instruments?
Not right now. No, I grew up playing piano. I
Mhm.
think if I was presented with one now, I wouldn't be able to. I
Uh-huh.
don't think I'd remember how to read music. Um, and I played the flute briefly, and it wasn't successful.
Well, I think that some of it might come back to you.
Maybe, yeah.
All right, what is your favorite food?
Oh, that's a long list too. I like anything that's made for me by anybody else.
You don't have
Start
to clean it
with.
up.
I have a major sweet tooth. I love cake, frosting. If it was considered a food group, I'd love that. I don't know. So yeah. Oh, I love breakfast pizza and then anything with noodles like pad thai. So
Mm,
I guess I gave you three foods, but
top three.
top three. We'll call it the top three.
If you had to entertain a famous person in Rochester for a day, where would you take them?
Um, I honestly feel like I would take them to Wegmans. I feel like that's
Oh,
such a cornerstone of Rochester. But after maybe taking them to Wegmans because they're probably thinking, I don't want to go to grocery store. Also, I have to realize Wegmans has expanded like throughout a few states now, so maybe they already know it. Um, I think ending the day at like a Red Wings game would be pretty neat. That High Falls area.
hmm.
I mean, if they were here for a full day, I would take them to the Finger Lakes area. One of the Finger Lakes I think are really special that we are lucky to be neighbors with the Finger Lakes.
Yes, so many nice wineries and
Yeah,
and just restaurants, cute villages. Great.
absolutely.
All right, so Alana, what is the best way to get in touch with you and your partner at Aging Connections?
Yeah, we have a website and we have email and phone numbers. I think our website is a great place to start because that's where our email and our phone numbers are housed, as well as there's a contact us button. So our website is www.agingconnections.net.
Okay. All right, I'll make sure to post them below as well.
Thank you.
Okay. So I've really enjoyed learning more about you and the services that you provide at Aging Connections, and just want to thank you for taking the time to talk with us and all the great work you're doing in the community.
Thank you. It's such an opportunity. I really appreciate that you gave this to me. Thanks, Molly.
Bye, Alana.
Take care.